Imagine you wake up on a Tuesday morning, and before you even open your eyes, you feel a heavy pressure sitting right on your chest. It is not a physical weight, like a weighted blanket or a pet sleeping on you, but it feels just as real. It is a tightness in your shoulders that has been there for 3 days, and a dull ache in your neck that refuses to go away. You go through your day feeling like you are walking through waist-deep water. Every conversation feels like a chore, and every notification on your phone feels like a personal attack. This is not just being tired from a long work week. This is the weight of carrying things that were never yours to hold in the first place. We often think of exhaustion as something that happens because we did too much. But more often than not, it happens because we felt too much for people who did not ask us to and who we cannot actually help. Think about the last time a friend called you to complain about their boss for the 100th time. You listened for an hour, you gave advice, you felt their anger in your own gut, and when you hung up, they felt better, but you felt like you had just run a marathon. You took their stress and tucked it into your own pocket while they walked away light and free. This is the invisible labor of the soul, and if you do not learn how to stop doing it, you will eventually break under the pressure. The ancient Greeks had a way of looking at this that we have largely forgotten in our modern world. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus used to tell his students that if they wanted to be invincible, they had to make a treaty with themselves. He believed that our internal world is like a fortress, and we're the only ones with the keys. He taught that we should only care about what is within our control, and everything else should be treated like the weather. You might notice it is raining, and you might even carry an umbrella, but you do not get angry at the clouds for being gray, and you certainly do not try to blow the clouds away with your own breath, because that would be a waste of your life force. When we live without emotional boundaries, we are essentially trying to blow the clouds away. Every single day, we see someone we love suffering, and we think that if we hurt just as much as they do, it will somehow balance the scales. We see a coworker failing, and we step in to do their job because we cannot stand the tension of watching them struggle. We sense a shift in the mood of a room, and we immediately start performing like a clown to make everyone smile again. We think this is being a good person, but it is actually a form of self-erasure. You are treating your own energy like a public utility that anyone can plug into whenever they want. But your energy is a finite resource, and when it runs out, you have nothing left for the people who actually matter, including yourself. Imagine if your life was a backpack every morning. Quitting your own responsibilities, your work, your health, your personal goals. That is a manageable load. But then you walk out the door, and you see your neighbor struggling with their groceries, so you take 2 of their bags and put them in your pack. Then you see a friend crying about a breakup, so you take their sadness and put that in there too. By noon, you are carrying 50 pounds of other people's problems, and by dinner time, you are collapsed on the sidewalk, unable to move an inch. The problem is that we often confuse empathy with responsibility. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It is a beautiful human trait that allows us to connect, but responsibility is the obligation to act or to fix something. When you take responsibility for someone else's emotions, you are essentially telling them that they are not capable of handling their own life. You are robbing them of the chance to grow through their own challenges while you slowly drown in their sorrow. Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome and one of the most powerful men to ever live, used to remind himself every morning that he would encounter people who were ungrateful, violent, or treacherous. He told himself that he must not be angry with them because they were simply acting according to their nature. He understood that their behavior was their burden to carry, and his only task was to govern his own response. He did not let their chaos cross the threshold of his mind. This is what a boundary looks like. It is not a wall that shuts people out. It is a filter that decides what gets to stay inside. A wall is built out of fear, and it keeps you lonely. But a filter is built out of wisdom, and it keeps you sane. When you have a filter, you can listen to a friend's problems and offer them a hand without letting their anxiety become your anxiety. You can see a family member making a mistake and love them anyway, without feeling like you have to jump in and save them from the consequences of their own choices. This distinction changes everything, because it allows you to be present without being overwhelmed. When you stop carrying what is not yours, you might feel a strange sense of guilt at first. We have been conditioned to believe that if we are not suffering alongside others, we are being selfish or cold. But think about it, lifeguard. If a lifeguard jumps into the water and lets a drowning person climb on top of them, they both go under. A truly effective lifeguard stays on the surface, keeps their own head above water, and uses a tool to pull the other person to safety. You cannot help anyone if you are drowning right next to them. Setting these boundaries is an act of deep self-respect. It is a way of saying that your peace of mind is valuable and that you are responsible for yourself first and foremost. You do not need to explain your boundaries to everyone you meet. You do not need to give a long speech about why you are not answering your phone at 10 o'clock at night or why you are not getting involved in the latest family drama. You simply stop engaging with the things that drain you without giving back. The Stoics practiced a technique called inner separation, where they would witness an event without absorbing it. They would tell themselves, "This is happening, but it is not happening to me." They were not being indifferent, they were being sustainable. If you want to be a source of light for others, you have to keep your own lamp filled with oil. If you give all your oil away to everyone who passes by, your light will go out and then everyone is in the dark. Carrying only what is yours creates a massive amount of space in your life. It is like clearing out a cluttered room that you have been living in for years. Suddenly, there is room to breathe, there is room to think, and there is room to feel your own emotions, instead of just reacting to everyone else's. You will find that you sleep better because you are not replaying other people's arguments in your head. You will find that you react less to small inconveniences because your emotional cup is not already overflowing, and most importantly, you will find that you show up more fully when it actually matters. When you are not constantly depleted by the small things, you have a massive reservoir of strength for the big things. You can be the rock for someone in a true crisis because you have not wasted your strength on their minor inconveniences. Boundaries also have a surprising effect on your relationships. When you stop being a sponge for everyone's moods, people actually start to respect you more. They learn where you stand, and they learn that they cannot just dump their emotional trash on your front porch and expect you to clean it up. The people who truly care about you will understand and support this shift. And the people who are only using you for your emotional labor will naturally drift away, which is a gift in itself. You were never meant to carry the weight of the entire world. You were only meant to carry your part in it, and your part is to be a healthy, conscious, and grounded human being who can offer help from a place of abundance rather than a place of depletion. So the next time you feel that familiar weight settling into your shoulders, take a deep breath and ask yourself a very simple question: is this mine to hold? If the answer is no, then you have permission to put it down. You can care for someone without carrying them. You can love someone without losing yourself. And you can be a good person without being a martyr. The relief that comes from this realization is the greatest freedom you will ever know. You are allowed to step back, you are allowed to say no, and you are allowed to protect your peace. Because at the end of the day, the only person you are truly responsible for is the one looking back at you in the mirror. Put the weight down and see how much faster you can run when you are only carrying your own heart.